Like many people, I spend far too much of my life hunched over a desk. I've calculated that I spend around 16 hours a day in this position, and that's not good and results in all kinds of shoulder and back pain and general stiffness. You know, it doesn't matter how much you go to the gym or do other activities in your spare time. If you're spending 2/3 of your life hunched over a computer, you're going to end up with problems. So I tried constructing a stand-up desk out of various things like boxes and coffee tables, and you know, it was nice, it worked, but it was an absolute mission to take down, because especially when you're getting used to having a standing desk, you are not strong enough or fit enough to spend all your time standing in that position. And I think it's probably healthier to spend a little bit of time standing and a little bit of time sitting. So what I did was invest in a Varidesk, which is an adjustable desk that sits on top of your existing platform. So you don't actually have to go and buy an entire table that is height adjustable. And for me that was a real benefit, because I don't want a huge electric table that is going to be difficult to move. Imagine if you move overseas. Whereas the Varidesk, although it is a little bit heavy, it can just sit on top of any desk. So I'm pretty excited to unpack it now. We're going to speed things up and you'll see me unpack. So to give you a bit of background, I ended up getting the Pro Plus 48-inch because even though I've only got one screen at the moment, who knows, you may want another screen in the future, and 48 inches is nice and wide enough to have two pretty wide screens alongside each other. Now apparently the Varidesk comes ready to go, so there's no flat pack installation instructions, but we will see, we will see. The box itself is pretty heavy, it's around 38 kilograms, and obviously the desk is pretty heavy itself, and so you want to make sure that wherever you're placing it on your table is actually going to be secure enough to hold that amount of weight. Now this table it's a fairly cheap trestle table, but being a simple trestle table, I think it will be just fine, but we're going to find out in a minute if everything collapses. So there's just one piece inside, and let's see what happens. Right, we even have some instructions that came with the Varidesk, and they show me before, hunched over, angry, me ordering the Varidesk thinking what a great idea, and then actually it was only one day until it arrived, so pretty happy with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean my desk. So we're getting there. Now I just have to get this up onto the desk, and I'm going to get my friendly assistant to give me a hand. It's wider than what I imagined, which is why you shouldn't imagine measurements. You should always measure properly, but I think it's going to be just fine. I'm just adjusting it, and remember, it comes forward, it doesn't go backwards, so we should be alright. And finally I get to see my collection of plants, my cacti, my carnivorous Venus flytrap, cactus, another carnivorous plant, this nice bamboo plant that I lifted from Jenny's desk because it looks nice. So what we found on top is a little brochure, and on it it's got some cable ties, and I think cable ties are really useful because of the scissor action that the Varidesk has as it opens and closes. I suppose cables could get caught in there and potentially they could be severed, and we could have all kinds of issues. So that's really nice. That's a nice little value add, I suppose. The action of the Varidesk is triggered by obviously a release mechanism, and actually when I was looking at this online I wasn't sure what these two holes were for. I actually thought they were some kind of cup holders or something like that, but now I realize that they are indeed the the access point to the mechanism that raises and lowers the desk. So having watched the videos online, I know that you just squeeze the lever towards you and you hold it until you want the desk to stop rising. So at whatever point you let go, that's where the desk should fix. So that's a pretty good height. Let's see if I can adjust it. Yeah. So for someone really tall, I guess you could be all the way up here. For me, that's too high. Now, how do you lower it? To release the Varidesk back down, obviously squeeze the control levers and you just push it. Now, it's probably a little bit more pressurized than I would have imagined. I suppose that's so that it's nice and smooth. I mean, it's got to support potentially several monitors, and you don't want something that's flimsy that's just going to be, you know, a pushover to get back down, like just bang. But let's try again. I think that's a pretty good angle, and I like how it comes towards me. Let's get the monitor on board and then we'll see how we go. But now one thing to be aware of is before you raise it up for the first time, you want to just have a think about how far your cables, your power cables, have to go to reach the socket, because if they're already quite tight, then what's going to happen is as you lift up your desk, it's going to pull them out and it could potentially damage the socket on the device, or you know, it's just not good to pull things out. So what I am pretty sure I've got quite a lot of give. I think so, it should be okay. If things go flying, then that'll make for good viewing. So let's give it a go. Okay, first time. So it clicks into place. So there's obviously some set positions that it locks into, which are secure and stable, and this is one of them. So let's grab my mouse. I think this is good. I think I can be productive in this position. Now let's pretend that I've been sitting here for a couple of hours and I'm tired. You know what? The Varidesk people are very clever, because when it has a bit of weight on top, it is super easy to lower. So that's amazing. I'm going to try again. Raise it up. It takes just the lightest pull. Clicks into place. Super comfortable. This is amazing. It's so much better than my cardboard boxes and coffee tables. And I'm tired. And this is actually better than my desk was before, because before I had my monitor perched on top of a cardboard box, and now it is raised above. The keyboard is at arm level, and this feels like a pretty comfortable position to work. I like the contour here, which enables your body to get closer if you so wish, and I feel like this is very productive. I feel like this is going to be good. But what I'll do is I'll check back in a couple of weeks and let you know how my new life of standing with the Varidesk is going. It's obviously quite an investment for most people, and I think that, you know, you have to weigh up what the investment is worth to you, because sitting all day for weeks and weeks on end like this is not good, and it's going to have implications in the long run. You know, you're going to end up with really bad posture that's going to be difficult to correct, and not many of us change career so that you are no longer based in an office to some kind of outdoor lifestyle until potentially you're retired. So rather sort out your posture now, get good posture, stretch more, stand up, and make working at a desk a more pleasant and natural experience, as it should be. I'm pretty excited about getting to work, and that's saying something. So let's give it a go. I think we might as well start standing up.